So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans down here at the Sawmill. I was just checking the weather. It looks pretty decent the next 4 or 5 days. No rain, and the temperatures are going to stay in the 50s during the day. It gets pretty chilly in the morning though, and then about the middle of November, looks like the highs will be in the 40s, but that's pretty typical for this time of year. We'll probably get our first snowfall, I'm just guessing right now, November 24th. That's when we'll get our first snowfall. Just a guess, we'll see what happens. I'm down here sawing some white pine. I got a bunch piled up over there, and you get just a little bit of that blue stain because it's been sitting around for a long time, but it actually looks kind of nice, and it's only towards the outside of the log. Everything else is doesn't have that, but we're going to need piles and piles of this pine for siding for the new building. I mentioned the other day, I can guarantee you that it's going to take me much longer to put all the siding on that building as it did for them to build it. They had about 14 hours wrapped up in it. And I planned everything as best I could, and I'm usually pretty good at that, but I did make one change, and they're going to come back hopefully in the next week and a half. I'm not sure when. They got to get some materials ordered, but they're going to come back. And when we head out there later on, I'll show you what I decided to change. I think it was a good idea. I should have thought of it sooner, but I'm really excited. I am. That building's going to be really, really nice when it's all done. All right, so I ran out and got another load of number 3 rock, and when I came out in a dump truck, there were 3 deer inside the building. They're so curious, I guess is what it is. So I had grandson Bo with me. We came out here in the dump truck. They're right in here, and they took off over that way, and then we sat here and watched a buck chasing a doe back and forth over there. But anyway, I had about 11, 12 ton of number 3 rock. I had some in here, but it was real thin, but things held up really well during the build, because the first day they were here, they got a whole bunch done. Then it rained a whole bunch that night and the following day, and then they came back the second day. So I was expecting more mud, but it held up pretty well. I put that 3 rock down, graded it up. Now I'm gonna go get the roller. I still have Adam's roller here. We're gonna roll all this, and then tomorrow I've got a triaxle load of 2B limestone coming, which will go inside the building. We'll kind of get close to grade, but we're not gonna pour the concrete until spring. But I'll be able to use this for plenty of storage this winter. I'm still waiting for things just to kind of dry out a little bit, but once we get the 2B in there, and the guy's got to come back to do just a few more things. I'll show you what I did. I made a change. So this whole end is open, as you can see. You know, I'm going to put pine siding up here, all around it. This is going to stay open right here, but the original plan was the pine siding from there all the way down. But I thought better of it. We're gonna put wainscoting metal all around here, okay? Just like we have at the building over by the house. But I'm also gonna bring it across here, and then we're gonna have a return right here from this post to that post to this post. Then it will continue on over to that post, Then I've got a 16-foot opening, wainscoting all down that other side over there. 2 reasons for that. Number 1, I think it's going to look really nice. And number 2, and more importantly, it's really going to reduce the amount of maintenance on that pine siding. If I were to continue that all the way down, you know, almost to grade, even with the big overhangs, you're going to get some splash on it. So I'm only going to have siding from about 3 feet all the way up. So it's probably going to be about 10.5, 11-foot boards, something like that I'll need to cover this. But I think it's going to look fantastic. And I thought, you know, it's going to be nice to leave this open right here for a side-by-side, whatever. But you can come right out of the main building right through here. Even if, you know, we were talking, Melissa and I, we could have our 4th of July party out here if we wanted to, you know? Clear some equipment out. Spammer call. Clear some equipment out, have some picnic tables in there. I think it would work really well. Concrete floor. And then when you come through here, we're gonna have like a ceiling in here as well. Doesn't need to be that high right here where you walk through or drive through. That's the plan for that, wainscoting. I should have thought of that before, and it would have been done by now, but I was watching them work out here and just kind of looking at the building, and I thought, you know what, that would look really nice and serve a good purpose as well. What else I did on this, the overhangs are huge. 2 feet all the way around, even on the gable ends. I like a good overhang. I don't like buildings without overhangs. Around here, some of the housing plans even, they don't have any overhangs on them. Yeah, we got 2 foot up there as well. They're a little more work, costs a little bit more money, but I think it's money well spent, and I think it just looks better as well. Before I go get the roller, I have to tell you about an international incident I caused the other day. I was talking about the World Series and how Toronto kept walking, intentionally walking, Ohtani, I think that's how you say his name, from the Dodgers. And I said, it's kind of like you're just saying, I give up, you're better than me. And man, did I tick off a bunch of Canadians. I couldn't believe it. They were coming at me in the comments about that. It was a joke, but it is true. And yeah, they were pretty upset. I thought all they cared about up there was like maple syrup and hockey, but apparently they like their baseball as well. They're probably really upset now that the Dodgers beat them in Game 7. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. One guy was happy that I smashed my chainsaw because I made a joke about Toronto. I don't know. Well, that's no good. I broke that bolt broke. I can't believe it. I'm not sure why, but it did. I'm gonna go get on Messick's website and hopefully they have one of those in stock. All right, so check this out. I came in, got on Messick's website. In 2 minutes, I found what I needed. I need this link right here. Also got a bolt and nut, a couple of those. They had 9 in stock. I actually just called them up, ordered it. It'll be here tomorrow. Total time to figure out what I needed, get it ordered, about 6 minutes. That's a smooth operation, Messick's. That's a fuel cap. Back when men were men. All right. Boy, does that roller do a job. That looks pretty good. And like I said before, we'll have 2A limestone over top of all that. But this stuff's hard to walk on. But then after you roll it, pretty nice. Yeah. I'll tell you what, this has been the strangest year for the leaves that I can remember. The red oaks, they're just starting to turn right now. They're looking pretty nice. The white oaks, they look real nice. That's a white oak there, that's a white oak there. Big one on the other side. But like the maple, they've been down for over a month. And here we are after Halloween, and the oaks are just starting to turn. Normally, by this time of year, half the oak leaves are on the ground, and they're really just starting to turn. It's looking pretty nice. I didn't have much hope for the fall foliage because it was so dry. And like I said, all the maple and the cherry, that kind of stuff, they've been down for a while, but the oaks are looking pretty good. See the difference over that side? Mostly maple and cherry. Oak over here. And the reason that is this. This, the whole way down past like Levi and Kate's house, used to be farm field, probably 60, 70 years ago. And all this was not. That's why you got the big oaks all down in the valleys and stuff. On my way out on the roller, I saw a little buck right over in there. Alright, so I have been moving a bunch of things around, and that's one of the problems with not having enough room. You got to move one thing to get to the other. But I got some baskets moved around, and I hooked up to the hydraulic tail trailer. Now, I have two trailers. Well, I got a dump trailer and an enclosed trailer, but two equipment trailers, and one of them I need to return. And I'm not sure which one. I was leaning towards the tilt deck trailer because I seem to favor it more. I use it more than the hydraulic tail. However, what I'm about to do right now calls for the hydraulic tail, and I'll show you why. All right, so Levi and I went and picked up nephew Christian's buggy. That's a Kawasaki Mule. It's not running. We're not sure what's wrong with it. And before we tore into anything, it is under warranty. Plus, he got an extended warranty. So we're going to run it up to the dealership for him tomorrow morning. But my point of this story is, this is the Mort's hydraulic tail. I have been using the Mort's tilt deck more than the hydraulic tail, but there's certain times, like this for example, I pulled this on with the four-wheeler. This has the mount for the winch right on it. You can put a winch on this trailer. The tilt deck has it as well, but when the tilt deck is down, I think it would be difficult. Maybe you could do it. I think it's easier with this. Plus, you get it right onto the tail, and I've had a tractor on here, it'll just pick it right up, you know? So now I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the story on that. Great trailers though, both of them. Just a personal preference, depending on what type of work you do. But anyway, I think that's about it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.